Today, I just
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio, this is your UI7 Newsbreak.
Today on UI7 Newsbreak, high schoolers across the country make their voices heard during National Walkout Day yesterday.
And the GEO prepare to get back to work after a long protest.
Plus, we look ahead to a potential new facility that will bring life to downtown Champaign.
Your UI7 Newsbreak starts right now.
Hello, I'm Maddie Bunton.
And I'm Nora Rogers, and here are today's top stories. Yesterday marked 1 month since the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida that left 17 dead and multiple injured.
Since then, a nationwide hashtag Never Again movement has been igniting change across the country and calling on Congress to act. CNN's Karen Kifa has more.
The House of Representatives passing a measure aimed at funding more security in schools.
The yeas are 407, the nays are 10.
While students nationwide participated in walkouts, school shootings were high on the agenda for Congress. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi was among lawmakers who joined students outside the U.S. Capitol.
No one's political survival is more important than the survival of our children.
Florida Senators Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio were among witnesses before a Senate hearing on the February 14th shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and how to prevent future tragedies.
The one thing I believe we do have common ground on is I know of no one in this country who wants to see another community or another state endure such senseless violence.
In the wake of Parkland, a number of bills have been proposed, but action has been slow. President Trump has reiterated support for a bipartisan Senate bill to strengthen background checks. It was introduced after the November church massacre in Sutherland Springs, Texas, but has not seen a vote.
Look at the age.
But the president did not include raising the minimum purchase age for guns to 21 among his recent proposals. And gun control advocates say he bowed to outside pressure.
Well, we found out that he was afraid of the NRA. But are you afraid of the NRA?
So students also took their message to the White House in silence with their backs turned for 17 minutes, one for each of the Parkland victims. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Dozens of high schoolers in Illinois also chose to participate in yesterday's walkout movement. Each school district in Illinois chose to handle the situation in their own ways. Some districts, like the Chicago Public Schools, chose not to penalize students who participated in the walkouts. Others, like Glenbrook High School outside of Chicago, said the walkout would be considered an unexcused absence. Plainfield District 202 allowed their students to walk out only if they agreed to meet with legislators after school.
While their voices are being heard, so can yours on campus, as the Champaign County announced an expansion for early voting locations for the upcoming primary elections. There are now 8 additional locations that have opened up for the primary elections on March 20th. Early voting ends on March 19th, so do not forget to go to the polls. Early voting will be available to all registered voters in Champaign County. All these locations are open this weekend on Saturday through Monday at 6 p.m.
While the GEO voted and agreed to their new current contract, members are still not satisfied with the results. More negotiations are still to come as the organization looks to build off this first stepping stone of progress.
From this to this, the University of Illinois Main Quad is a lot quieter this week after a GEO victory, members having received a contract after over 200 days without one. Students are beginning to make it back into the classroom this week after experiencing many relocations and cancellations while their TAs were participating in the strike.
Now it's better because the TAs are back and we have to get back on track, so we're kind of trying to speed class up because there's like material we have to cover that wasn't covered over the last 2 weeks.
Although 98% of the organization voted to accept the contract, the terms are still viewed as far from perfect. In fact, GEO representatives see them as merely stepping stones into opening up further negotiations in the future.
Fair wages for, fair amount of work, because I think it's kind of BS because Colleen accepted a $100,000 bonus at Christmas. and the average TA salary is $16,000 a year.
In Champaign-Urbana, I'm Leah President, UI7 Newsbreak.
For spring break, expect a fairly cold weekend. Friday will be partly cloudy with some sunshine and a high of 42 degrees and a low of 33. Saturday will be cloudy but a little warmer with a high of 48 degrees, but will quickly turn around and go as low as 28. Finally, to wind down the weekend, Sunday will be filled with sunshine and reach a high of 55 degrees and slowly drop to a low of 38 as the day goes on. Coming up after the break, we look at a new potential sports facility in downtown Champaign.
UI7 Newsbreak will be right back.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We are packing and getting ready for a well-deserved spring break.
Before we start relaxing, we have one more show.
If you aren't going anywhere this spring break, no worries. We have the perfect staycation plan.
Plus, we get a behind-the-scenes look at Illinois Student Musical's production of Heathers.
And we will introduce you to another amazing U of I student in this week's Who Am I?
That and more this Friday on Good Morning Illini.
Don't forget to watch us live on YouTube at 9 a.m.
Big changes might be coming to Champaign-Urbana when a study done by Collegiate Consulting was released last week. It supports the creation of an NCAA men's hockey team on campus, while it plans to help other sports as well with a new facility.
The University of Illinois' athletic director Josh Whitman held a press conference about a released study done by Collegiate Consulting. He mentioned how the new program and downtown facility will be an upgrade for wrestling, volleyball, and gymnastics. Men's gymnastics coach Justin Spring talked about whether the facility will be a final resting spot for practices after several decades.
We need one. We need one pretty bad, and whether or not that ends up at the new hockey venue, or whether or not that getting a new hockey venue opens up a new place for us on campus somewhere. I don't know how. I don't think Josh knows how. I don't think anyone does, but there are going to be some moving parts.
The men's gymnastics team has been practicing in the Kenny Annex for over 110 years. It even shares the building with local high school track programs during the academic year.
Just another high school bell, yep, in the middle of our practice facility. Happens all the time.
But to get a brand new facility, Whitman said the cost would be nearly over $50 million.
It's a big number out there, and so we're working hard to try and generate the support that's necessary to get the project lifted off the ground.
At the end of the day, Coach Spring hopes the facility would bring in a new fan base for gymnastics.
Where's our niche the other 3 years and 9 months outside of the Olympics, right? So I don't know, I think it will help, because I think that people now more than ever are really attending events more based off convenience.
Whitman said he doesn't intend to spin our wheels too quickly. However, the project is planned to get off the ground and running in 2 to 3 years. In Champaign, I'm Roger Blanco.
An Illinois baseball player was named Big Ten's Player of the Week for the second week in a row on Monday. Yesterday, the Illini took on Milwaukee for their home opener. Junior Doran Turkin took the field after receiving Big Ten Player of the Week. This is the third year that Illinois baseball has had 2 Big Ten Player of the Week awards before the end of March. After a close game, the Illini took a 9-6 win. The Illini has had 8 wins in the last 9 games. They play again this weekend in Carbondale.
As the baseball team starts their season, the Illini hockey team season comes to an end after an 8-1 loss to Adrian College in the championship game. The Illini got off to a rough start as they ended the first period down 2-0. The Illini did get on the board early in the second period as David Kellner scored the only goal. That lone goal wasn't enough as the Illini gave up 6 more goals as the final score ended with an 8-1 loss to Adrian. The game featured 8 seniors for the Illini as they strapped up for their last game. This was the first time in 9 years that the team reached a national championship.
Winning a national championship isn't easy, but that's what March Madness is all about. The NCAA tournament starts today, so fill out your brackets just as former President Barack Obama did yesterday on Twitter. Picking teams seems easy, but March Madness is filled with upsets and Cinderella stories. While the University of Illinois didn't make the tournament, Loyola of Chicago did for the first time since 1985. Former President Barack Obama expects the local team to win their first round game against the University of Miami today at 2 o'clock. Overall, Obama stuck with the Big Ten and picked Michigan State to win it all. He also filled out the women's bracket as he picked heavily favored UConn to win its 5th straight national title.
While some students were spending their Friday night filling out their brackets, others attended the engineering open house to view the Tesla Coil concert on the Bardeen Quad. Attracting more than 20,000 visitors annually, the engineering open house offers more than 250 different exhibits, competitions, and entertainment. One that is favored is the giant Tesla Coil concert that takes place each year after sunset. Many ask what a coil concert even is. Well, the giant coil generates a huge arcing spark discharge that makes different sounds depending on what type of pitch the song is.
Out of all the programs hosted on the U of I campus, there's one dance class that attracts a much different crowd. UI7's Dixie Limbaccia caught up with one ambitious dancer and brings us this week's See You Neighbor.
For some people, dancing comes naturally, but for others it takes a bit of work. One participant in particular, Gretchen, doesn't let Parkinson's stand in her way when it comes to dancing.
I was 39, which is one of the youngest people who've been diagnosed with Parkinson's in Champaign. And it's an honor I don't particularly want to have. And it's become more than just an exercise class. It's become a social event.
This week's See You Neighbor, Gretchen, was the very first dancer when Craner introduced Dance for People with Parkinson's. After her diagnosis, Gretchen found that the disease didn't hinder her enthusiasm to dance. Gretchen first became interested in Dance for People with Parkinson's after reading a National Geographic article explaining the benefits of dance with people suffering from the disease.
We don't talk about drugs. We don't talk about illnesses. We talk about grandchildren and other things. Well, it was the first thing that taught me that Parkinson's isn't a lethal disease. You don't die from Parkinson's. It just makes your life a little bit difficult.
As advancements continue to happen in Parkinson's research, Gretchen wants to remind people to keep dancing. In Urbana, I'm Dixie Limbaccia, UI7 Newsbreak.
Wow, she's got some really great moves. I need to take a lesson from her.
Yeah, Maddie, I've seen you dance, and I think you could use a couple lessons.
Yeah, she can really shake it.
No, that was really cool.
That was so cute that they came together and all danced.
Yeah, I actually wanted to attend a dance class like that sometime. I never got the opportunity to do that.
What kind of dance moves are you trying to learn?
You know, little salsa, tango maybe.
Well, that's all for UI7 Newsbreak. Thank you for watching.
For more of our stories, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like us on Facebook.
Until next time, have a great day and enjoy your spring break.